again for another video. As usual, we'll start on the charts. I mean, I'm looking at the Ethereum weekly, and it's still below the 200 moving average. I mean, it needs to close today, or like at least on Sunday night, above the 200. It's still at 11. Well, it's gone down. It was 11.96 yesterday. It's 11.95 today. It's a dollar move. I mean, nothing's really happening. The price is flat completely. You go to lower time frames. Yeah, I personally think it's not financial advice. I personally think we might dump a bit more. Maybe in the short-term time frames it might go up a bit. I noticed like on a 15-minute there's like very little volatility. Uh, yeah, it's due for expansion. To the upside or the downside, you make the choice. I've got a feeling it's gonna go up, and I'm thinking, oh, should I go long? But no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna sit back in my USDC and do nothing. Uh, yeah, Bitcoin looks rubbish as well. Anyway, you might ask yourself the question like, oh, why is it still dumping? Like, what's the reason? Like, I mean, it all started with the whole Luna collapse, didn't it? So you probably all know anyway. Like, the reason why it dumped is because they had an algorithmic stable coin that lost its peg. So yeah, it was backed by what ETH and BTC. So once the price of ETH and BTC started dumping, it was like basically first out the door. And that was the beginning. That was like the first sign, and everyone was so shocked by it and didn't realize the implications for the rest of the market. And now we are all like dying basically. Yeah. I mean, we will survive, right, guys? Like, and girls and people. We will survive, people. I'll say it that way. Um, yeah. So that was the first reason why things are going bad, and then there's other reasons. Like you got, let's see, we got like now we've got Celsius. It's another billion-dollar centralized. I wouldn't say it's a hedge fund, but I don't know what they were doing. I mean, it seems like people were trusting another centralized entity with their crypto, and the people who in charge of this centralized entity, Celsius, decided that maybe they should leverage trade or not hedge, their bets. The reason why people are actually trusting these centralized entities is because they're offering APY, APR, interest that's way above the norm. Like you put your money in the bank, you're not even getting a percent. Well, given inflation, maybe, and the rising rates, maybe you get a good deal these days if you've got any money to save. Yeah, so this is the one of the other reasons why the market is not performing the way it should, or yeah, there's obviously the macroeconomic factors as well. So Alex Mashinsky, basically Celsius is saying that look, you guys are not getting your money back. Tough. Look, it's suspected in fraud case, tries to stop meltdown. So yeah, you've trusted a third party with your money. He doesn't know you. He doesn't care about you, and your funds are gone. And if you do, hopefully, if he gets caught and arrested and taken to trial, and then there's an investigation to see whose money is whose, you could be waiting up to 3, 4, 5 years. You just got to look at Mt. Gox. That was 10 years. Well, not 10 years, but a long time ago, and people are still waiting to get their refunds, man. Like, I wouldn't bet on getting your money back. This is why decentralization is important. Like people complain about, oh, when you use the Ethereum blockchain it's expensive, but you're not paying to anybody specifically like you would to this dude. You're paying the network for security. You're paying for decentralization, which is your security. The sooner the public understand that, the better off the whole industry will be. Okay? Like, stop complaining about paying for block space. Paying for block space is very important. Okay, 3 Hours Capital, that it fails to meet its margin calls. This is another crypto hedge fund. They all got this god complex. Basically, they made so many individuals made so much money that they just thought they were untouchable, and they thought, like you and me, that the market would never end. So 3 Hours Capital have failed to meet margin calls. So they were taking money from other financial entities and basically going margin long with no hedge, And there was a post by a character on crypto Twitter who seems to know a fair bit about the situation, and he stated as saying that the 3 Hours Capital actually owe $1 billion. So they're down $1 billion. So I'm wondering if Suzu, one of the founders of 3AC, this lovely character here, um, if he's personally okay, like I'm sure they are. I'm sure he's fine, Mr. Mashinsky. I'm sure Suzu is fine. You know, I'm sure other people who work at 3 hours are fine, but it's the customers that are really getting, having the train run over them, all because they couldn't be bothered to do the research and keep their funds in their own pockets. Okay, so this is why the only reason why I bring this up is because I believe the selling is not done yet. Like maybe these things are the things that have caused or induced the selling over the past 6 months. Yeah, that's fine, but there's still more to come, I feel. And the reason for that is, yes, final capitulation fears mount as miners send record amounts of Bitcoin to exchanges. So, it's survival of the fittest now with the Bitcoin miners. So if you're not profitable as a miner in a bull market, or if you're just breaking even, it's more than likely that your business will be shut down once the price, well, once you sell. Like you have to sell to maintain the costs of running the miners. um Given that China closed down all mining operations, I'm not sure they're back and forth of it. They probably do still mine Bitcoin, but that's why the reason why they were dominating the mining space in the past is because they had such cheap electricity. Now the US, like saying that, I think they're building big factories out in Texas. I didn't do the research on that. I should have. Maybe I'll do that for tomorrow or Monday. I'm gonna have the weekend off because I'm picking up my daughter. We're gonna hang out. Um, where was I? Yeah. So basically the miners are going to need to sell in order to break even, buy new mining equipment, because mining equipment, it has a use by date. Basically, once the algorithm peaks at a certain hash, and you need a certain amount of power, you, the miners that you have in place might not have the spec to solve the problem of whatever the hash is, if that makes sense. Um, so yeah, this is the next thing to go. The last time this happened, I remember the smaller miners and all the miners were battling it out, and the price basically stayed stagnant for 3 months. Then it dumped from 6k to 3k, and that was the bottom. That was literally the bottom. That was where you could buy. So I mean, if you could find the time to maybe save up, like me personally, I'm gonna try and save up as much as I can and be patient this time and try and buy the bottom. But this is why, the Ethereum moving to proof of stake is so interesting, because it eliminates the need for, the renewing of mining equipment. If anyone could spin up a node and secure the network, then great. There's no actual need for miners to sell. It's just people earning a yield, a fair yield, hopefully. It's not going to be one of those things where you're earning thousands of percents in yield. It won't work like that, I'm afraid. Uh, but yeah, and also issuance would go down as well, because I think the issuance is going to be slashed by 2/3. So there won't be as much Ethereum around. So yeah, I think the price might do something then. There's a difficulty bomb, which means that basically the developers are supposed to be forced to do certain things in a specific amount of time before a certain block. Now, if they don't do that, then the difficulty of the hashes that need to be solved by the miners spikes and the network freezes. But they have this unique thing where they can push the difficulty bomb forward, like later on to a further along block. So they've done that. So it looks like proof of stake will be initialized in September. They did have some like test runs 2 weeks ago or 8 days ago. It feels like a year ago. And they said it went smoothly, but I've got a feeling there are a few problems. So they need to iron that out. The developers, the geniuses down at Consensus and wherever, yeah, Lighthouse and whatnot. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. See how my punks are doing. It's my OctiPunks. Anything interesting? Nope. Price is still stagnant. When's the last time it was about 17 hours ago? Okay, great. Ethereum, not interesting at all. I mean, my advice, just enjoy your weekend. I'm still on the job hunt. I applied to a few other jobs. After I post this video, once again, I am out there looking for something else. Yeah, let me know if there's any other information you guys would be interested in. I'm just gonna, yeah, I guess I'm just gonna get on with the rest of my day. I would go along and say this, like, given what I've said about these guys, these individuals, please, 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 if you're gonna get involved in this space, please make sure you look after yourselves. That means that these guys they've all looked after themselves. They're all fine. Yeah. The Machinskis and the Suzus or whatever. Even the guys that you think are like crypto celebs. You got Kobe, you got Ledger Status, you got, all these other guys, Loomdart, and they're all fine. They're all sitting there, and when you watch their videos, this is what I've learned this bull market. It's all a distraction. So long as you look after yourself, you should be okay. All right. Anyway, hope you have an amazing day. The sun is out. It's 34 degrees today.